Hello, I'm Natasha. Welcome back to the channel. And today I want to discuss why I am immensely disappointed with the Trump administration. I, like many others, wanted Trump to win as I saw him as someone who could bring peace in what can only be described as a very turbulent time in the world. As part of his campaign, he stated that he would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. He also stated that he would be a peaceful president. He would end wars and bring about world peace. Since starting his presidency, however, the world seems to be in a very dire place. The US bombed three nuclear sites in Iran in June 2025, directly joining Israel's effort to destroy the country's nuclear program. There was no legal basis to do this, and it was, of course, an echo of what happened during the 2003 Iraq War. Trump has also failed to end the war in Ukraine, which he said he would do in 24 hours. I mean, this would be simple to do. Just stop funding Ukraine and it would force Ukraine to the negotiating table. But Trump seems to be taking a leaf out of the sick minded leaders in Europe and seems to be flitting back and forth between negotiating with Zelensky and Putin instead of forcing Ukraine's hand. I believe that Russia will continue with this war until they achieve the complete military defeat of Ukraine. Then there is the situation with Venezuela. For 2 months, the US military has been building up a force of warships, fighter jets, bombers, and spy planes in the Caribbean Sea. The US says it has killed dozens of people in strikes on small vessels from Venezuela, which it alleges carry narcotics and narco terrorists, without providing evidence or details about those on board. Obviously, it has nothing to do with drugs. The biggest drug producers in South America are Colombia and Peru. Venezuela does, however, possess the largest oil reserves in the world and significant gold deposits. And Trump wants to overthrow Maduro. He wants US companies to take over the oil and natural resources of Venezuela. And he wants to kick out China and Russia from the area and put in obedient right wing oligarchs who will allow the exploitation of Venezuela, which is pretty much what happened in Libya, which is, by the way, a failed state and has been since NATO's war there. I suppose credit where credit is due, he has brought together this Gaza peace plan to try and bring about an end to the fighting and genocide there. However, it remains to be seen how this will work in practice and who will ultimately benefit from this plan, especially financially. I found it extremely disturbing that Trump thought it was acceptable that Tony Blair could be on the new Board of Peace, temporarily supervising Gaza's governance. Blair, the Satanist who was one of the architects of the Iraq War, responsible for over 1 million deaths in Iraq. Overall, Trump's presidency is really quite disappointing. He could have gone down in history as a peaceful president, but he obviously wants to follow the path of war, as so many of his predecessors have done. The fact that he rebranded the Department of Defense the Department of War is not a good sign for the future. One also has to question how impartial a president can be when they seem to get so much money from such wealthy donors like Miriam Adelson and Elon Musk, who clearly have their own agenda and priorities. What hope is there, therefore, for just normal, everyday people who cannot see an end to this absolute madness? For me, the answer is simple: to turn to God. He is our only hope in the disturbing times that we live in.